Hello, and welcome to this week's The Movie Madhouse. I'm Jason.
I'm James.
As you can see, we are Robless. He's a busy man, meetings and stuff. Comes with TV production, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever. But you had this interesting idea for today's topic.
Yes.
Top 10 from the last 10.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to a movie podcast that I used to listen to a lot more regularly, the Cinerealists.
So we're stealing their content. Okay.
Well, no, I kind of built on because they have this regular or semi-regular list they do, and they call it the top 10 last 10. They just take the literal last 10 movies they watched and they rank them.
Okay.
And I thought of doing, well, what about the top 10 from the last 10 years? And if you keep track of all your top 10 lists, even though our last couple years have been top 5s, I still would do a top 10.
Oh, I always do a top 10 anyways and just read the top 5. Yes.
Yeah, and I used to do a top 20 even.
But I found that I don't have all of them. I had the last 2 years, I had 25 and 24, and I had 22 and 20. I don't have 16, 17, 18, 19, or 21 and 23. So it was kind of weird.
And so, I have all the way back to 2012, but I even found a bunch of movies that didn't appear on respective lists from like in this case we're doing 2016 to 2025.
Yes, and I definitely have some that I'm at least one I think was probably not in a list because I didn't watch it until a while later. And like I started with 100, whittled it down to 30, and then achingly pulled a 10 out of the 30.
It was hard.
It's hard. I had to basically, what criteria did I want to use for this? And I stuck with, I ended up landing on, well, which ones do I go back to the most? Which ones do I rewatch the most? That's the best way to go about it. All right, we got Sandra saying hi. Hello, Sandra.
Hello.
And okay, so let's without any further ado, let's get to it. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is the only movie on this list from last year, and it's not my number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was surprised because this movie, I'm going to do a build-up. This movie, I keep going back to a certain musical sequence I find on YouTube that's from the movie that I kind of skipped over the first time I watched it because I was more trying to get through the movie, and so I'd skim some of the action scenes or musical sequences, but I can't stop watching this clip. And then I watched the movie again because I picked it up the other night, and I watched it again with my wife, and she really enjoyed it because I had just been meaning to watch it again ever since the first time I watched it. So my number 10, it was my number 4 movie from our top 5 from 2025, and it is Sinners.
Nice. It was in my top 30, but I have not gone back to it. So it did not make my top 10.
I swear.
But that is a stellar movie.
I couldn't tell you. I lost track of how many times I've watched the Rocky Road to Dublin dance singing sequence with Jack O'Connell and the rest of the vampires.
It's a great movie, and I do need to watch it again. And now it's in the record books. It has the most Oscar nominations. So again, if you put any stake in that, but
steak.
Unintentional. All right. But very cool. Yeah. It made my top 30, but did not make my top 10, so not on my list. But I do have two movies myself from last year. Yes, there might be some recency bias. I will acknowledge that, but I
Yeah.
just know how these movies feel, and I have they're my 10, my number 10, and my number 9. I'll tell you right now are from last year, but
Okay.
have rewatched these movies already, so that's why I squeaked them in. And my number 10 is Superman. I fucking loved that movie. I know
Huh?
I don't, but I loved it. It was the best comic book Superman movie. Like it just hit all the right buttons for me. And I've thoroughly enjoyed Superman, and that's why I had to make it my number 10. There's I know we've already talked about it so much
Yeah.
in past, especially last week, but yeah, James Gunn crushed it for me.
The one scene from that movie that sticks out to me that does make me chuckle is when Superman is in his apartment or whatever talking to Lois, and you see like out the window across the water, the Justice Gang fighting some alien,
Yep.
and you see this giant green bat, and you know that's Guy Gardner, but he's using it like a giant bat. And you just see the bat going bonk 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 on the alien.
Yep. Yeah, that is great because you got that really heartfelt conversation going on between Clark and Lois. While there's what did he call it? An interdimensional imp. So I think they're kind
Yeah.
of implying that that was Mr. Mix's Pitlick in some way, but
Okay.
because that's what he is. But yeah, that there's so many good scenes. One of the standout scenes for me is the Mr. Terrific on the beach when he walks into the beach compound
Oh yeah.
and he puts Lois in the bubble and he's just kicking the crap out of everybody. Like that's such a cool scene. But that I adored that movie from beginning to end. Uh, it's the only straight up comic book movie that made my list. And I will tell you this, not a single Marvel movie even made my 30.
I don't have any either, and I was surprised myself because I thought I'd have Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home, which are like two of my favorite Marvel movies from the last 10
I
years.
Yeah, even in my top 30, I only had the only Spider-Man movie I had was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, nice.
So, and that didn't even make my top 10. So, yeah, I'm very late on the actual like Marvel or DC stuff outside of Superman. It's the only one that made the list.
Well, in terms of I only wrote down two honorable mentions
Mhm.
because I had to eat dinner. Um, but one of them was the Batman.
Okay.
That's one.
I
That's one that I go back to a fair amount.
It was good, but it didn't really work for me entirely. Like, yeah, I'm not anxious for the sequel to that at all. So they didn't quite get me on that one.
Yeah.
By the way, my Superman was my number 4 from last year. So the
Oh,
you know,
what?
what's your number 9? Number 9.
My number nine. My number nine is from 2016. It, for whatever reason, did not appear on my top 10 list from that year. It may have been a top 20, and I whittled it down. Anyway, it's a gorgeous movie. It was Tom Ford's second, his second directorial effort, follow up to A Single Man. It's the Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, I think Isla Fisher too. Nocturnal Animals.
My kid talked about that one. I never did give it a look. Oh, and Alfonso's here. Hello, Alfonso.
Alfonso, hey. It
Welcome.
it's a gorgeous movie, and it's also hi guys. Hey Alfonso. It's a gorgeous movie, but it's also pretty brilliant because it all it deals with uh, going through the history of a relationship where Amy Adams was dating Jake Gyllenhaal in the past. She dumps him, also gets an abortion, and and then they drift apart, obviously. And then years later, uh, she considered him a failed writer back then, and he's written a manuscript for a book that he's going to publish, and sends it to her. And the whole book is basically a giant chunk of the movie is her visualizing. And the funny thing about it is the woman who plays what would be her in the book is Isla Fisher, who always gets mixed up with Amy Adams with certain celebrity circles or whatever. Anyway,
I kind of see that. I can keep them straight because of the things I've seen them in, but I can see the resemblance there. Sure.
but essentially he's basically throwing in her face what she did to him throughout their relationship, and he knows that she's captivated by the book, and then just oh, it's brilliant and gorgeous.
I know my kid was a big fan of it when it came out, but it's generally not one that I'm going to get drawn to, and he did not keep pushing it on me. So yeah, I've never given it a look.
Cool.
But I do get that it has its following and so on. So my number 9, again from last year, my number 1 from last year is The Running Man. I'm telling you, again, the 35-year wait just delivered for me, and I adore that movie. It's
35 years. Wow.
that's all about how roughly, right close to that, if not exactly 35, right close. That's when I first read that book. It was that long ago, and I wouldn't wait. And like the the Arnold movie has its charm, and it's part of my childhood and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I wanted a better adaptation of the original book, and this movie came way closer, way closer, and I adore it for that. And I've already rewatched it like twice, so
Oh, nice.
yeah,
I did have
that's
a
why.
question for you. I did have a question for you about the remake. Now, I never read the story, so I don't know if this was part of the story when they had it in the original movie, but Whitman, Price, and Haddad.
Yes, they were names in the original. They were past winners in the original that we
Yeah.
found out had been taken out, but they were supposed winners.
Yeah.
Hello, Rylan. Welcome to
Do
the
they
show.
do they do they reference them in the remake?
I don't think so. Not that I recall, but if it is, it's like a quick line of dialogue and it's gone. I don't think they do.
I always thought it was like the coolest band, the coolest name for a band that never existed.
Yeah, kind of. Sure. A little dark considering they were all fried by the.
But it was just the way he always said, like Whitman, Price, and Haddad, and they'd show the three of them together on a beach, and
Yep. Yep. And then
still
at
in
the
the
end,
Running Man suits.
but then at the end,
They
when
find their
the truth comes
skeletons.
out,
Yeah.
you find they're burnt out husks because
Yeah.
the flamethrower guy got them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm telling you, man, that and Long Walk both met my expectations for what I wanted for those, and both of them I'd been waiting 35 years for. So
Yeah.
no, The Long Walk did not make my list, this top 10, because I haven't gone back to it because it is a depressing movie,
A
but
little
I
bit.
do adore it. I do still adore it. It's absolutely a great adaptation as well. But The Running
Nice.
Man, from my number 1 from last year, is my number 9. Again, yes, recency bias, but I have rewatched it a couple times already. So, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is from 2021. It was my number 2 movie from that year. It is called Needle in a Time Stack. And I know I've talked about it before on the show when we did time travel movies, because that's essentially what it is.
Okay.
But
Well,
it centers around a couple who get separated because a previous boyfriend of the main woman, Cynthia Erivo from of Wicked fame,
oh, yeah.
and her ex-boyfriend from years ago, played by Orlando Bloom, is like he inherited his father's company, so he's super rich. And if you're super rich, you can afford to go on a jaunt, a time jaunt, where you can go back in time to visit sometime in the past. You're not supposed to do anything, and then you get to come back. But a lot of people don't listen to that, and every once in a while, you'll see this like wave coming across, and it'll wash over you. It's sort of like this clear wave, and all of a sudden, things will have changed because somebody has changed something in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So he is sort of a jealous boyfriend, and he knows that Orlando Bloom has always regretted breaking up with his wife. So he goes to confront him, and in confronting him, he kind of causes him to realize his regret, goes back in time, makes it so they never broke up, and all of a sudden he's married to someone else, so he has to find a way back to his original wife, who no longer remembers him and has been with Orlando Bloom for 9 years because of the change in the past.
Hmm.
It's a fascinating take on the time travel aspect.
Yeah, it's ringing a little bit of a bell because I know you've talked about it before, but yeah, no, I've never seen it anywhere. So it's not even, I've
No,
never heard of it outside of you. So,
it was just one of those that I was cruising the movies that were on sale in the Google Play store, and I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. Watch the trailer. This looks interesting. I watch it, and it's like, oh my god, this movie's awesome. But I wouldn't have found it otherwise.
okay. Huh, interesting. Well, my number eight is from 2018, and no, I don't have my list, so I don't know if it made that list, but it probably would have. It's a polarizing film for fans of this franchise, The Predator.
Nice. That
I
was
I love this movie. It is so much fun.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you get a little bit more into the Predator thing because you get the big one, chasing after the little one and all that. But Boyd Holbrook in the lead role was fucking badass and funny. And I cannot think of. Well, it has a great cast when he meets all the loonies, right?
yeah. The guy
So
from oh yeah, the Loonies. Yeah,
you got
Tom
Thomas Jane,
Jane, and
Thomas Jane, and Keegan Michael Key. Them, just the two of them together, was phenomenal. Like they especially how they go out in the end. There's,
yeah,
it's not. It's the only term I can use for it is that was a pretty beautiful and romantic way to go out. Even though it's not a romance like that. It's still there were
it's a bromance.
a bromance thing, and yeah, that was pretty awesome. And
I
that's just one of the many things
Yeah,
that
I had to look up his name, Trevante Rhodes, the guy from Moonlight, who was one of the other guys in the Predator, where when he goes out, he like gives the finger to the Predator, and like
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was the kind of the leader kind of thing. He's the one who
yeah,
he shot his commanding officer, and
commanding officer.
he found out it was himself. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alfie Allen
Hmm.
he was the one who the sniper and could pilot.
I liked how Jake Busey was in there playing the son of the Gary Busey character.
Yeah, that was a nice callback. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. What
that
is
was a hard one to cut.
All right. We're getting some comments from
Ooh,
randoms here they don't
what was
make
that?
sense. So
They're bots.
I don't know. They're telling us to yap 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 and shush and no, go away. Um, Greg's here.
Hi, Greg. Best movie last 10 years. I'm hoping Bumblebee makes the list. Sadly, it did not. What year was Bumblebee?
I don't know. It wasn't in my top 30. It was fun, but not
Yeah,
not the greatest.
no, it was fun, but it's not one of my favorite Transformers movies. And
Um,
I never saw Rise of the Beast, so I can't include it on this list.
it did not. Rise of the Beast is great, and it really made, like, when I saw it on a whim when I went on a solo road trip to Hamilton to try and get into a AEW wrestling show.
Oh yeah,
And I had time to kill before the show, so I ended up going to see that, and it blew me away how good it was. Because the last few movies sucked. Like 4 and 5 or whatever of that series, no thank you. But Rise of
I
the Beast gave me a little bit more of that Saturday morning feel again. So it didn't make my top 30, but it was in the original running because I know it was on my list at one point. Um, but the Predator, though, I it is. I just, again, so much fun. And what's her name?
um
The lead actress in that. Shit, I've had a thing for her since I saw her on
oh
G4. Olivia
God,
Munn. Olivia Munn.
thank you.
Yes, she was great in it too. And whoever the dude was who was the agent, his cockiness and whatnot.
The
We just call it a
agent.
predator. He's not a predator. He's a hunter. Yeah, but we thought predator was cooler. Like,
The agent.
yeah, I don't know if I don't think it's Lakeith Stanfield, but I have trouble remembering this dude's name. He was the colored dude who kind
Oh,
of
Sterling
ran.
K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown. Why can I not remember his name? But he's so great.
Yeah, no, he's a seriously good actor.
Same director as the new He-Man. The Bumblebee was.
Travis Knight.
I honestly don't know. Have you seen the trailer for He-Man?
I saw the teaser. It looked pretty good. I liked. I mean, you can't tell it's him, but Jared Leto plays Skeletor, and he looks
Skeletor.
pretty creepy.
Yeah. I'm a little more curious about that movie now.
Masters of the
Still,
Universe. Oh,
I'm
it is the director, uh, Travis Knight, director of Bumblebee.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was wondering what he was doing next.
Well, now you know. And no
Yeah,
means half the battle. Yo, Joe. What is your number 7?
my number 7 is from 2021. It was my number 9 of that year, and my love for this movie has just grown over the years. It's I don't, it's not it. Let me say, it's Guillermo del Toro. It's not his most recent. It's one of his last few, I believe.
Shape of Water.
Uh, no, honestly, it beat out Shape of Water to go on this list.
Oh,
It's Nightmare Alley.
I only vaguely heard about that one. I honestly, besides you, I guess, I don't know anybody who's watched it. No one has ever
Oh my
mentioned it to me.
goodness. I wanted to see it because it was the fall. I think it was his follow up to Shape of Water.
Okay.
If not, it was Pinocchio was in between them. Whatever. Um, but Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett, Tony Collette, David Strathairn, Ron Perlman, Rooney Mara. It's such a great cast. It is such a beautiful looking movie, a dark story. Uh, um, Bradley Cooper is not a good. His character is not a good guy, but it's just a like beautifully told tale. I found out that it's a remake, but from like movie back in like the 40s or 50s or something like that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that title. Okay, we got somebody here. Game Freakness. Can I make 7 suggestions? Go right ahead. Let- let's see what you got. Um, Nightmare Alley. Uh, again, haven't heard of that one from Guillermo del Toro, but
Uh,
is it a horror?
no, no, no. It's a. I'd say it's a noir. It'd be considered a noir movie. It's a
Okay.
like Bradley Cooper just stumbles into a carnival and makes himself useful because he's just traveling around after his father dies. So he's wanders in there, and he has this knack for being able to read people, and he becomes a mentalist
Okay.
and falls in love with Rooney Mara. They take their act on the road, and then it sort of starts to take a dark turn where he's taking advantage of people and because of the money and the power it gives him.
First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the
Then you
women.
get the cat. Then you get the khakis.
The khakis. Well, my number 7 from 2023. Again, I don't have my list, so I don't know where this would have landed, but it is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
I still haven't seen that.
I'm a big D&D fan. Like, I absolutely love playing D&D. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And knowing the amount of material you have to work with,
Yeah,
when I heard they were doing a movie, I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? And it was not based on any of the books, like any of the pre-existing stuff. So this was all new material, which isn't hard to do because basically you run a D&D game, you write all your notes down and make a movie out of it. It's, look at Critical
yeah.
Role. It's what they do with their animated stuff, right? But what they delivered just hit every mark. They had nods to a lot of main and popular things from the lore, and we saw creatures from the lore. We saw races that are lesser known outside of D&D, like the cat people, the tabaxi and stuff. Spells, recognizable spell usage. There was a nod to Critical Role at one point early on in the film,
Oh.
and a cameo by the characters from the original Dungeons and Dragons animated cartoon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the previous movie.
No, no. We don't talk about that movie. No, but one of the other teams in the maze segment, during the big thing at the end, like the big
Yeah.
whatever, I can't remember the name of it. Is, if you look, it's the characters from the D&D cartoon.
I watched that when I was a kid. I was a big fan of that cartoon.
I had it on DVD. I think I sold it a couple years ago, but let's see here. You know what? So here's the suggestion from Game Freakness. If you have a list you're talking about, put it on the screen and have your webcam underneath. Oh,
that's Jesse.
You're getting attacked.
No.
That is a good suggestion. We're just kind of low rent with our text, so it's a little trickier. It's something that has been talked about, and we do appreciate the suggestion. We should try and work that out more. I lost James. Oh no. But thank you very much for that suggestion, sir. I appreciate it. We should. It's something that has been talked about. You're back.
Sorry.
Oh, now your audio is different.
Oh.
Your audio sounds a little wider, but you're still. I can hear you fine, so you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same. What the hell are you doing? Are you drinking over there? Uh-oh.
No.
Are you okay? Do you need help?
Okay. No, I'm fine. Hang on. Jesse was just chewing something I don't think he was supposed to.
Uh-oh. But Dungeons and Dragons, yes, I absolutely adore that movie. I hope they do more. I know there was a lot of talk that they might start getting into some of the known story material. There's a dark elf that's really popular named Dritz Duerden. I think there was talk that they may start following that story.
Oh.
So I love that movie. And Chris Pine was great in that role. Honestly, everybody played their characters so well. It was great. Sure, okay, they stretched some of the abilities for some of the characters, like the druid girl being able to wild shape into an owlbear. You can't do that in the game. That doesn't work. Okay, fudge the rules a little bit, rule of cool, all that stuff. It was a fun ass movie. I was so pleasantly surprised because going into it, we still have that vague memory of the one we don't talk about. Can they pull this off? And they did. So I love that movie. I love Dungeons and Dragons. So give me more of that, please.
It did look like a really fun movie.
It is. It is so much fun. And you get Hugh Grant as he's just a slimy dick in this movie. He's just ugh, which is funny. He'll come up later. What is your number 6?
My number six was from 2024. It was my number 3 movie of that year. It's probably the best movie I've seen with my wife at the theater. I don't go to the movies a whole lot. I was telling Greg that I think last year was the most movies I've seen in the theater in quite a while, thanks to the podcast. But I've seen a few at the theater with my wife. Scream 6 was not great. Avatar Way of Water was not great. Civil War is outstanding.
Now you're talking that movie that came out like a year ago.
With
Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, where
I have not watched it yet.
Alternate reality of a civil war in the States, where the Western forces, which is like California, Texas.
We're Americans, but what kind of Americans? I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that clip.
It's a very creepy scene, yeah.
So is
But
that your number? Is that your number six?
that is my number 6, Civil War. The
It's
second latest movie from no, I think the second latest movie from Alex Garland.
okay. Yeah, it's been kind of on my radar, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But it is on my radar, so I probably will get to it eventually.
Yeah.
My number six is from 2022, and it was in my top 10. It was my number five of that year. It is a Christmas movie, and there's no arguing if it's a Christmas movie. It's not like some other movies that shall not be mentioned. It is Spirited
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
with Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell. It's a musical. It's by the duo Pasek and Paul do the music. They've got some other known titles. One of them may be coming up later. It's a completely different take on the traditional Christmas Carol Scrooge story. It
Okay.
totally it totally takes it and just flips it in a way that you don't expect going into it. And like when you start watching it and okay, it's just that, but then boom, like it shifts instantly. It is a lot of fun. Yes, some of the singing isn't the greatest, but to me that's part of the charm. Some of these actors that they have in the movie aren't known for singing, so what they do is passable. It's not horrible in any way. It's just not, maybe not as crisp and clear and powerful as you would get from a stronger singer, but
Yeah.
it's all part of the charm of the movie. It's got a great message. Ryan Reynolds just gets to be that smarmy prick that he does so well in so many things. And yeah, it's a staple of Christmas for us. It's definitely one of the ones we watch every year. A Christmas Story and A Christmas Story Christmas. Yeah, those are my go-to. That's my childhood. But Spirited is one I have to watch every year for sure. So yeah.
I still have trouble stomaching A Christmas Story Christmas.
Oh, I loved it. No, A Christmas Story, it just hits me right.
Christmas Story, yes, not A Christmas Story Christmas.
Yes, I realize they rehashed some of the gags and stuff. But that's, to me, that's an homage. That's part of the charm of it all. Yeah, to me, it's another stellar, like, it's one of those legacy sequels that worked for me. You
Fair
know,
enough.
some legacy sequels do, some legacy sequels don't, and that one definitely did for me. But
Okay.
that didn't make my top 10. Spirited did for 2022. I love that movie. You should check it out. I'm not going to throw it at you because it's a
No, no,
Christmas
no.
movie. So,
I
you know, watch
I've
it at
always
some.
planned. I've always planned out because the guys behind it. You said like I love The Greatest Showman, and it just barely got cut from this list. Like one of two or three movies that I had to whittle off.
Yeah, my boys, they're not massive fans, but they acknowledge that Pasek and Paul know how to do like pop variety music that just works for a general audience. It may not again be the greatest technical music and stuff, but they know how to make music that just gets a crowd, right? It gets you going.
Yeah,
So
and I also liked Dear Evan Hansen, not as much as Greatest Showman, but it had some really good songs on
I haven't watched the movie Dear Evan Hansen because I haven't heard much good things, but we've listened to the soundtrack, and we are fans of Ben Platt. I
Yeah,
heard that the movie rendition just didn't work. He was too old to be doing it at that point, and it just seemed awkward. But Dear Evan Hansen was a smash hit on Broadway. The soundtrack is great. So,
it is a good soundtrack. Yeah.
what is your number five?
My number 5 is from 2019. I must have seen it the year after it came out because it debuted late in 2019. Um, because it was the follow up to a TV show that I thought was good, not the best in history, like some people say, but the TV show was good. The movie is spectacular. It is El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie.
Mm. I never did watch it. I was a big Breaking Bad fan. Love that show. It is still, yes, one of the best written TV shows that's ever come out. It's in that list, but I never actually checked out the movie.
I I love the movie so much more than I liked the TV show. I liked the TV show; it was good. it's not one of my all-time favorites, but this movie is.
Mm. It maybe I should check it out at some point. I don't know. It's not really on my radar. Like I know it exists, but I think it was just I enjoyed Breaking Bad and how that the show ended that I don't need to go back there in the risk of it might tarnish it. You know.
I don't think it does because it gives you a wrap up to Jesse Pinkman's story. Not
Yeah,
really anybody else's, but
I just feel like it got such a mixed reaction when it came out. Like,
I don't remember hearing about a mixed reaction, but it was one of those movies where I watched it. I watched all the special features. I listened to all the commentaries, and I had to keep absorbing it.
mm. Yeah, maybe at some point I'll try and maybe actually get pull the trigger on it, but I don't know. Um, my number five, because Kevin Smith had to appear somewhere on this list, is my number three from 2024, the 4:30 movie.
Oh
Clerk
wow.
Clerks 3 was in the running, but I don't revisit the Clerk series on often. I like it's like a once a year thing, only because those movies are special to me. So, like, there are movies that I absolutely love and I would consider some of my favorites, but I don't rewatch them often because I like getting that a little bit of that fresh feel because it starts to fade in the memory. So, rewatching
Yeah.
it feels good, and that's kind of how I feel with the Clerk series. So I don't rewatch it. Maybe once a year, but the 4:30 movie I've rewatched multiple times. It's semi autobiographical based on Kevin's youth, and it just has its charms that works for me. I love, and Austin Zager I thought was great in the lead, and yeah, it's one of Kev's lesser known ones because it's outside of his fan base. A lot of people don't know about this movie, but it is
And,
really really good.
and I think it's still the only Kevin Smith movie that I have not seen yet.
Oh, okay. You want to be a completist? You're gonna watch Kevin movies. You gotta watch it. Then come on, finish
Yeah.
finish the list. Um, Game Freak, if you're looking for a third person, would love to be on the podcast. Well, Game Freak, we usually have a third person. Rob usually pilots the show, and when we're in studio, we're usually in his studio, in his house.
Yeah.
He was busy this week, so it's just the two of us flying this week. But we do sometimes have additional guests. So I'm not sure what the best contact info is, but if you found us through Facebook and whatnot, you should be able to find a link. Send us a message, and maybe we can work something out to get you on the show.
Yeah.
If you have a topic in mind, because we can do theme topics, top tens, that sort of thing, or if you just want to chit chat about anything, just send us a message, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so that was number five. You're number four.
Yeah, I was a guest once.
That's true. You did start as a guest. Hey, doesn't beat me though. I was a guest on episode 5 of this show and just hung on like a barnacle. That's why I'm still here.
Couldn't get rid of you.
Nope.
My number 4 is from 2018. I didn't see it until I think a year or two after it came out, so
Okay.
it didn't appear on a list. This movie fascinates me. It is incredibly weird, but incredibly intriguing to me. It was David, David, David something Mitchell. The guy. It was his follow up to It Follows, and it is
Oh,
under the Andrew Garfield movie Under the Silver Lake.
you recommended that one to me, didn't you? Like
Several times.
I think well, I think you actually hit through the give it a good
Did
honest watch
I?
card at me, and I had trouble finding it for a while. And I do have a vague memory of sitting down to start watching it. I got 5 minutes in, and something came up. I didn't, and I never went back to it. So it, I acknowledge that you probably threw that card at me, and I will try to get it back in and get that taken care of because I don't want to owe a debt.
Yeah, it's David Robert Mitchell. It's just you can't believe where this movie goes and how it gets there. And you're going to be wondering, like, how much of this is actually happening, and what is possibly going on. How much of it is in this guy's head? because it's
I
just like, how do you get from here to here to here to
I
here?
remember you telling me mentioning that, and that's why you threw it at me because it was going to be a bit of a mind trip.
Yeah.
So I will try to make a note of it and get that card off my slate because I know you threw it at me. I know you did. I think I found it on Tubi actually.
It might be on there. I found it on Google Play.
I don't use Google Play, so um, just Game
It's just how
Freak.
I found it. I could have special ordered the Blu-ray, I think, but I haven't seen it in a store anywhere.
So Game Freakness, he's an aspiring writer director. Love coming up with new ideas with movies that they didn't like the new Superman or Happy Gilmore 2. We've kind of done that sort of thing where we've recast films. And maybe we'd add in like a director to just to see what kind of different twists. So we could possibly do something like that. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 4 is from 2023 because I had to have at least one of his movies on this list, and I don't mean Kevin Smith, somebody much bigger than that. Godzilla -1, baby.
Of course.
God,
Of
like
course.
it beat out Godzilla King of Monsters and Godzilla X Kong to be on this list, but Godzilla -1 really did make to kind of take me back to my childhood watching like the OG Godzilla movies, just
Yeah.
because of how good it looked, how well the story played, the look of Godzilla himself when he's like in the city and he's tromping around, they almost made him look like a rubber suit again, like a better looking naturally, but it almost had that feel, which just adds to that just a little bit more for me that aesthetic. But the fact that
Yeah.
they made that movie on like $15 million, it just stunning, stunning. And to me, that's like kind of like an fu to mainstream Hollywood. Like you're gonna spend all that money, we can do a movie like this for less than that, and it was even better. And knowing that we're getting Minus Zero, the sequel is coming at the end of this year, which was my number one for upcoming movies. Like, give me more Godzilla. I've enjoyed all the new Godzilla stuff. This Shin Godzilla, even though I missed it when it first came out, saw it on the what do they call it when the re-release? The
Yeah.
re-release last year, which it did better numbers in the re-release than it did in its original release. It's a little darker take with him constantly evolving, but it's still a really great Godzilla movie. But I love the popcorn fun of the MonsterVerse, the Godzilla X Kong universe, and the Monarch Legacy of Monsters TV show, and those movies that I just childhood again. The nostalgia works for me, and all these Godzilla movies have been delivering for me. But Godzilla -1 is probably the best Godzilla movie in my opinion.
Yeah, and there are some directors out there in recent history that seem to be able to do really special, large-looking things with a relatively modest budget. The Godzilla -1, but Gareth Edwards is another one who, regrettably, did my probably one of my least favorite Godzilla movies. But his debut was Monsters, which he did for like $500,000, and it looks fantastic.
I didn't like that movie. I did.
Monsters?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. The pacing was very very slow, and it
It's a little
really
slow.
I had a hard time getting through it. I watched it, but I couldn't tell you much about it, and I know I just did not like it. As for his Godzilla movie, yes, I admit that one has some problems because you don't see him and all that stuff, but it's still pretty awesome. The third act is pretty fucking badass. It's
But
still a good movie. Even the word I would consider it probably the weakest of all the MonsterVerse Godzilla movies, but even the
yeah,
weakest one is still good.
yeah, and not his most recent movie because I think most recently he did. What's the? He did Jurassic World Rebirth, but
Okay.
the movie he did right before that that I was telling you and Rob about, he did a movie called The Creator, which deals with AI and stuff.
Okay, I do remember seeing the trailer for that.
Yeah, which was
That
not a
looked
super
interesting.
and it's the movie is stunning, and it's not a super high budget either. So he's another one who can pull that off.
I was curious about that one. I remember seeing the trailer. And it somehow blew by me when it came out. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
very well done and stunning to look at.
all right. Your number three.
My number three is from 2020, came out during the pandemic, got kind of dumped into theaters, has since become a cult hit. Does not have a physical release yet, but maybe one day. It was my number two of that year. It is The Empty Man.
I don't know that one at all. That title's not ringing any bells.
I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but it's essentially a guy who's doing a favor for a friend. He's looking for his friend's daughter who has gone missing, and he kind of had a thing with the girl's mom years back. He has his own tragic past. His wife and child died in a car accident, and he's a private investigator now. And it sort of goes in weird directions where he's finding more and more about where the missing girl went and what she was involved with, this cult surrounding the quote unquote empty man. You have to get past. I mean, it has like a 20-25 minute prologue that happens at the beginning of the movie, and then it jumps forward to present day. So if you can get past that, yeah, it's a good mystery thriller. It's close to 2.5 hours, but I find it really intriguing, and it's got a really good score soundtrack that goes throughout the whole movie. And it stars James Badge Dale, which he's one of those guys you'd recognize.
I recognize the name. I don't think I can put a face.
Yeah, he was in Michael Bay's 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, most notably probably from he was Chase in season 2 or 3 of 24. But he has done a lot of stuff. He's just you would look at his picture and say, "Oh, it's that guy."
Somebody, Robert Daniels, is asking, who's the composer? Do you know who the composer of the score was?
I do because I purchased the score. I've had that on my phone for a while. Let me just Empty Man. It is hang on. Composer Christopher Young and he Christopher Young and Brian Williams. And Brian Williams it says as Lustmord, but it's largely mainly Christopher Young.
Okay, I don't know that name, but I don't keep track of composers and whatnot too much, outside of John Williams, of course.
Of course.
My number three, been mentioned a couple times already, from 2017, The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, it killed me to cut that.
We didn't watch it when it first came out. I think we came onto it a year or so after, but ever since then, it has just stuck with us. I rewatch the lyric video, which just pulls the footage from the movie with throwing the lyrics up of "This Is Me." I
Oh
rewatch
yeah.
that video all the time. Like honestly, I I would love to be in the ensemble cast to do a stage version of that, just to do that song, because the
Yeah.
energy that you'd bring to it, like but it's got so many good songs. Like it's
Yeah.
such a fun movie. I don't know how true it is to the actual life story of PT Barnum. I'm sure it's not anything close. That doesn't matter. The story that they tell, the cast is great. Probably one of the first roles I actually saw was Zendaya. Like
Yeah.
to me, that was before Zendaya blew up. So I didn't know who
Yeah.
she was, but she was great in it, and her and Zac Efron were great together.
I was in love with this movie before I ever saw it because we were kept wondering why it wasn't coming to Chatham. Why is it not coming to Chatham? And it never actually did as a theatrical run, even though it kept growing and growing and growing. We only had it as like a family favorite, but I bought the soundtrack. I couldn't tell you how many times I watched the YouTube video of the behind the scenes where Hugh Jackman, the presentation where they got the movie greenlit, which
Yes,
there
yes.
there's my favorite song in the soundtrack is From Now On, but there's also one of the behind the scenes songs for This Is Me, which was the song that got the movie greenlit. But that whole presentation helped.
I've
I
seen
did
that video.
manage to I did get to see this movie in a theater. I was visiting St. Thomas, and I went and saw it with my buddy Bevan and his wife, and we saw it at Western Film, which was technically part of its theatrical run. So I got to see it in the theater. I got to see the message from Hugh Grant saying thank you for watching this in the theater and stuff. Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's one we go back to. Robert Daniels agrees. Good choice. Dismissed it when it first came out, saw it on streaming, and fell in love with it, as a lot of people did. As I understand it, it really kind of grew as a cult classic
Yeah.
more than anything than its initial run.
One thing I'm not a fan of is the remake soundtrack they did where they had reimagined all the songs with other artists. I
And
can't listen to it. It's awful to me.
the only one I like from it, I believe, was Pink's rendition of oh shit, I can't remember the song now. But Pink had a
I can't.
song on there, and her version of it's good. The movie version is still better, but that was the only song off that version of the soundtrack that kind of worked for me. And
I
Robert Daniels
tried
agreed
because
to
it was
the Hugh Jackman behind the scenes was pretty awesome. Yes, it was. I know I
yeah.
saw that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Greatest Showman, my number three. What is your number two?
My number two from 2021. I had a few from 2021 on here.
I
From
noticed.
2021, it was my number three of that year. It is The Little Things. It was a crime drama thriller with cops looking for a serial killer. It was Rami Malek, Denzel Washington as the burnout cop brought back into the investigation that he was originally part of like a decade ago, and Rami Malek is the young hotshot up and coming detective.
Hmm.
It was Jared Leto as a creepy, slimy. Could he be the killer? Maybe, maybe not.
It's vaguely ringing a bell. I don't think I've watched it, but I think
It also
I don't know
came
if my
out
kid
during the
talked about it.
pandemic. It also came out during the pandemic. So, like, uh, we were in our limited, very, very, very limited amount of seating. So, this movie would sell out if you sold 4 or 5 tickets. It was
Okay.
considered sold out.
All right. Yeah, it's vaguely ringing a bell. I know I've never seen it, but it's interesting cast and a good thriller. It can always be good at sometimes. Oh, for a second, I thought I
Sorry.
lost you again.
No, sorry. This is not a strong tripod. Mm.
Well, my number two, which happened to be my number two from 2020, because I'm a sucker for a good Guy Ritchie movie, The Gentleman.
That's the one I was thinking of when you
Uh,
said Hugh
he
Grant being a slime ball.
Yes, this is the other movie that was I was thinking of. Yes, I Guy Ritchie's crime comedy stuff is just I adore all his movies, but The Gentleman I keep going back to, and the cast is so great. And you got McConaughey, you got Charlie Hunnam, you got Hugh Grant, like I said, Russell or not Russell Crowe, Colin Farrell, your friend.
Yes.
Your best friend, Colin Farrell, as the coach. Those crazy freaking parkour MMA guys, and they bust into the weed shop, and like it's ridiculous. But watching the mystery play out, and then the big reveal at the end that they were on to Hugh Grant the whole time and everything. Like, oh god damn, it's such a fun movie. The kid who gets accidentally thrown off the balcony, and that ends up tying up at the end of the movie again, and like there a few things that happen just by coincidence in it, but it just works out in the favor, in the right favor. It's so much fun. I have not checked out the TV show, which I believe is a prequel series.
No, it's I have seen season 1. They recently greenlit a season 2. I
Okay.
watched season 1 with my wife. It takes place in the same universe, but it doesn't have any of the same characters.
Okay, so it's not a prequel then. It's its own
It's not a
story in
prequel,
that world.
sequel. It'd be like a
Okay.
side quel. It just takes place at the
Okay.
in a different area. It is an equally good show, but it's way more serious than the movie is.
Oh, yeah, I don't. I should check it out because, but if it doesn't have the fun factor, you're gonna kind of lose me because that's what the big part of it was, the fun stuff with it.
Yeah, the one scene I
And
watch over and over again is Matthew McConaughey talking to Jeremy Strong, where he's in the freezer. And he's just saying like, "I'm not emotional about the money." What
no,
I and you watch it and you just see his smile and his eyes
yeah,
drop, and he's just
but
like, "What I am emotional is people putting their hands on my wife, my wife."
yes,
It's just
and for
so
that,
exciting.
I want a pound of flesh. I don't care what part of your flesh that you cut off, but if you were an ounce shy,
And that
you know,
door does not open.
that door does not open. And once again, Robert Daniels kind of agrees. Guy Ritchie is quite underrated. Yes, he is. There's only one of his movies. Because I still don't know if I've ever watched Revolver, but I feel like I would enjoy it, just from what I've heard. The only Guy Ritchie movie that I've heard about, will never watch, is the one he did with Madonna.
Oh, swept away. You don't need
Swept
to
Away.
watch it. It's
I
just
Yeah, I refuse on that one. But Guy Ritchie crushes so much. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is in my top 30. Just didn't make my top 10. But goddamn, that's another fun one with a really great fun cast.
yeah, I
So,
still have to see that one.
oh,
But
you
but
should.
yeah, Rev-
Alan Richardson just crushes in the most ridiculously fun way. A- And
yeah,
that's kind of a
Revolver's
challenging
on
thing
my
because he's pretty
list.
badass.
Yeah, Revolver's on my list of my rotating list of upcoming movies to watch for our movie nights.
Okay. Well, then I'll hold off. If it may come up on your watch at some point, I'll hold off on watching it then. Um,
Yeah.
so, what is your number one movie from the last 10 years?
Hmm. This one this one never gets old for me. I can watch it over and over again. It's just as awesome. The soundtrack is just as good. The actors, it's a biopic, and it's I always say it's one of the few biopics where the actors, the Hollywood actors playing the roles of the people they are based on, the real people in real life are better looking than the Hollywood actors portraying them.
Okay.
In my opinion, that Kurt Warner's that handsome of a man. Um, it's from 2021. It was my number 8 of that year, so it was not even the number 1 of that year. But it's my number 1 here. It is American Underdog.
Okay.
It's the story of
I
Kurt Warner joining the Rams. He's widely considered the greatest undrafted NFL player in history.
I'm familiar with the story, but I never did check that one out. But
Zachary
I know it had a lot of buzz behind it, and I
Zachary
feel like I've heard that
Levi of
sentiment about people looking better or whatever. I feel like I've heard that sentiment before.
Zachary Levi of Shazam fame is just phenomenal as Kurt Warner. Anna Paquin as his wife in the movie. Oh, it's so good.
Cool. Well, my number one, and this is kind of a surprise, but again, if I had to look back at all these movies that I have in this list, and all the one, what do I go back to the most? Well, heist movies go a long way with me. There's just certain heist movies that I just can rewatch over and over again. They'll make me smile every time. My number one from 2017, and I did not watch it when it first came out. I didn't discover this until COVID. Was Logan Lucky.
Oh yeah,
Steven
I thought it was
Soderbergh, I believe it was Steven Soderbergh, with
yeah.
Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Hilary Swank in a small
Daniel
role.
Craig.
Daniel Craig. This is probably my favorite Daniel Craig role. honestly.
That's a wacky Daniel
Outside
Craig
of
role.
Benoit Blanc, because Benoit Blanc, what he's done with Benoit Blanc in the Knives Out trilogy is pretty phenomenal. But you watch him in that, you watch him as James Bond, then watch him in this movie where he's playing
Yeah.
a fucking redneck explosives expert. Joe Bangs is his name.
Yeah.
Joe Bang. Like, god damn, and it's so fun. And then when he's breaking up the little explosive that they're gonna shoot down the tube, and he's using gummy bears and fake salt because he's got a condition where he can't read salt or he can't eat salt, so he's got like the salt alternative, and he's using that and gummy bears and like oh hydrogen bleach pens.
Okay.
So he mixes bleach pens, gummy bears, and fake salt into a baggie, wraps it up, puts it in a tube, and he's holding it like it's nitroglycerin. And they duck and cover like it's gonna be a big explosion. They fire it in the tube, it doesn't go off. Like, and that's it. I'm not gonna spoil it anymore. But god
I
damn it,
know I
I love
watched it. I've only ever watched it once.
oh you get also have Seth MacFarlane pops up in this
Oh,
goofy ass
that's
role
right.
where he's the Australian. He's got like a champagne or something or energy. It's an energy drink.
Yeah.
But you meet him earlier in the movie at the bar. Adam Driver is a veteran with he lost his arm from his elbow down, and
Yeah.
they make fun of him and stuff. And
There's only two things I can remember from the movie. One is Daniel Craig sitting in the backseat of the car changing, where he keeps telling the guy to turn around.
he's talking to his Channing Tatum's sister, and he's like, "No peeking."
Yeah, and something at the end of the movie when they're in the bar drinking, and Adam Driver's fake arm is on the bar.
Earlier in the
And
movie,
I
he takes his arm off and puts it on the bar. At the end of the movie, he's got a new arm.
Oh,
And he
okay.
doesn't take it off. If you're talking a scene where he actually puts the fake arm on the bar, that's actually like the beginning of the movie.
There's something about that at the end of the movie. I think I don't know. It's been
It's a reveal to see his new arm because it's a
okay.
really expensive arm.
Okay.
But and then there's a spoiler at the end because there's somebody else in the bar, and
Oh yeah,
he's
I wasn't gonna say anything about that.
he's talking to them, and it may not end well, kind of thing. But yeah, I love heist movies. I rewatch the Ocean's 11 series often. I have a few other heist movies that were in consideration, but for some reason, Logan Lucky, I go back to it often. Like every few months, I rewatch it again. I'll
I
probably
should
end up
give it
watching it again like in the next week or so.
I should give it another watch. I haven't seen it in so long.
I highly recommend it. So much fun. Also, probably the first time I ever saw oh god, he's on The Boys. He's a nepo baby.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, because he's one of Daniel
Oh,
Craig's brothers.
okay.
There's two idiot brothers. The other one I don't really recognize, but Jack Quaid is one of them, and it's the first time I ever saw him in anything before The Boys.
Yeah, I think I had seen him in. I don't know if he did Scream 5 before that.
Yeah, I don't watch those movies.
Oh, the Hunger. Oh, he was in one of the Hunger Games movies.
He
That's where I
was.
would have seen him.
I would have saw him then too, but I don't remember him. I don't hardly
Yeah,
remember those movies much at all. Um, but I do like Jack Quaid. He's really come into his own in the last few years
he
with The
is.
Boys. I watched the movie Companion a few months back from last year,
Oh, I haven't seen that
and
one yet.
it's fun. It's weird. It gets a little twisted. And then just like a week ago, I watched Novocaine finally.
Oh, how was that?
It was fun. It's fun,
Nice.
kind of rather brutal what he goes through because
Okay.
it's in the trailer. He doesn't feel any pain.
Yeah,
He's got
that's all I know
SEPA or
about
whatever
it.
it's called, so he can't feel pain. So, like, he doesn't eat food. He has to blend everything because he could chew his tongue off because he can't feel it.
Okay.
So, like, he's got all these things, and then he meets this girl, and then shit happens. It's brutal what he goes through, but God, it's a fun ass action comedy because of what he can do. It's
Nice.
Well, Kick-Ass would kind of gets into the same vein, but this
Yeah.
takes like, I don't want to say it's more gory, but it is a little bit like it's just a little more violent, and Kick-Ass was violent, but this movie just goes that just a step above Kick-Ass when it comes to the kind of
like
violence you
boy
can do with somebody who doesn't feel pain.
like Boy Kills the World.
Yeah, yes, that movie's batshit insane too. Yeah,
Yes, it is.
I need to rewatch that one. I've only watched that one once, but that was a batshit movie.
That was. Yeah.
Well, there we go. There are our top 10 films from the last 10 years. Not an easy list to shoot from. Do you have any quick honorable mentions you want to throw out?
I have one other honorable mention. I just want to say thank you, sir, for going along with it.
No problem. No problem.
The only other honorable mention I had, because I mentioned at the start of the show, the Batman
Yep.
from what year was the Batman? 2022. The only other, I'm just trying to get the year. Was it was another COVID era movie. It was from 2020. It was called The Night House. I'm sure I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I can't remember what context it was. It was Rebecca Hall, and it's sort of it's after her husband um, committed suicide, as she starts finding out this weird stuff about him, where she finds a house in the woods near where they lived, where that she didn't know her husband had built for her, and it's sort of the reverse of their house, and it has some he was researching stuff, and it's really weird, and so I'll just go into it quickly. um she briefly had a brush with death. She had a near death experience, and what happened was when she died, she encountered nothing. Nothing happened, and the nothing uh, misses her and kind of wants her back. So it's her husband found out and was trying to get the nothing off her back. And this isn't the nothing from like Neverending Story nothing. This is just like the nothingness, sort of like death itself uh, wants her back.
You sure this
And
isn't a
so
sequel to Never Ending Story? Because it was the nothing that came for them.
I know you were going to say that, but no, he was just basically trying to keep death off her back. And so he'd kidnap women and kill them and bury them under the floorboards of this house, try to fool death into thinking that she was dead. And then
That sounds really,
so
really weird, man.
it is weird
But
because he
it's
had
par
let
for the course for the kind of movies that you enjoy. So I'm not surprised. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Okay. We have differences of opinion, sure. But your choices, some of the movies we've watched at your place, they are a little weird, but they're always enjoyable. Okay. We haven't had any fails yet. So
That's true, and you've still got one of probably two of my favorite. You have two of my favorites from since we started doing this: Barbarians and the
Strange
Palo
Darling.
Alto.
Oh,
What was
Palm
it?
Springs. Palm
Palm
Springs.
Springs. Strange Darling was good. Palm Springs was just an awesome take on Groundhog Day,
Yep. Yep.
and Barbarians is just through the roof awesome.
Yes, it was. And Weapons was even better. So
I still
I'm
have to
glad
see that.
I pulled the trigger because I wanted to include it in my top 10 for the year. So let's
Yeah.
see here. So Robert Daniels, sorry I came in late, guys. I'd love to hear the rest of your list. Well, once we're finished doing the live, the recording should be up. And so if you want to, you can revisit the show and you'll get the full list there. If
Apologies in
I,
advance for technical difficulties where my camera fell.
yeah, well, blame the dog. We'll blame the dog. Marcel popped in. He came in late to the show. We'll review it later. Have a good night. It's great to see you,
There's a
Marcel. Sorry we missed you. He says sometimes he gets in early.
yeah.
um, I've got like 20 movies listed as honorable mentions. I'm not going to name them all, just the notable ones. Ready Player One, come on. Who doesn't love that movie?
Ooh,
Another heist movie, Baby Driver.
yeah. I knew
Uh,
that'd be on your list somewhere.
it just came just shy for the top 10. And one that I know I've talked about on the show, I've got like a lot of big name ones here. I'm not gonna bother, but the one, it's almost a guilty pleasure because I made my boys watch it and they kind of got mad at me about it. But it's from 2018 called Bodied. It's the battle rap movie that was produced by Eminem. It was made for YouTube Red, their premium
Okay.
service. It was like the first movie for that.
Yeah.
It's offensive, but that's kind of the point of it. That's what battle raps are. But it really, it hits, like, it's so ridiculous with like the raps themselves and what the guy actually calls out on the raps. Like it's just so ridiculously fun. It's kind of a guilty pleasure for me to go back to it, but I do go back to it regularly. So Bodied from 2018. Yeah, it almost made my top 10. It really did.
Yeah.
But there we are. Our top 10 from the last 10 years, 2016 to 2025. Rob's head might have exploded if he tried to do this one. I don't know if he would have been able to do it, honestly. So, but we're tough. We got this.
Oh yes.
Thanks to everyone who popped in and with your comments and so on. Game Freakness, if you're still out there, please shoot us a message if you want to get on. So for another week at the Movie Madhouse, I'm Jason.
I'm James.
And we'll see you next week.
Toodles.
I say shut up! It's a madhouse!